and welcome to Rock News. I'm your host, Frederick Fuckleberry, and today I will broadcast to you the latest news. And in today's first news, we actually have that apparently Nickleback claims to be death metal on their next album, which is quite interesting to hear from Nickleback. I mean, they're not famously known for being metal at all. They're more known for being nickel, which is a metal, but it's just whoever goes to metal and thinks about nickel. I mean, come on. But we will see how this turns out, because we don't have much more on this as of now. So we will perhaps report on this news once it's actually out, the album. But for now, that's all we know, and I thought it was interesting enough to report on the news. So, on to our next news, which is actually that Morbid Angel is still the best death metal band. And you guessed it, it's not because there's no other death metal bands in the world, it's actually because we found a recent case study of a disappearance. No, not just a disappearance. Specifically, disappearance in death metal bands. Now, we've been suspecting that over the past years, there's been just decline in death metal. Why is that? Do you think it's because the death metal bands are just not composing? It's wrong. It's because Trey is killing them all. Trey has actually set out to be the only death metal artist in the world. He's actually planning to fully make Morbid Angel a solo project because he thinks he's actually better than everyone in the band, and he's going to actually perform 356 BPM blast beats on the next Morbid Angel album because he murdered his drummer. So, this is actually big news. He admitted to committing multiple crimes. In fact, how do you even mass murder so many death metal bands and get away with it? Because there's no court case or police case. He must have bribed them. I'm guessing he probably bribed them with a couple Barbie dolls and some whiskey. But as of now, this news is actually crazy, so we will follow this in the next episode of news. Because I'm sure this will take a turn soon. Hopefully we'll hear some more if there's gonna be a court case or something. Because, I mean, he just straight up admitted to murder. How does that even... Man. Anyways, the next news is actually quite the biggest news, because today we will mark the day where everyone will find their own peace in their own home. Because in this latest news, real lollies become a thing due to lab scientists experimenting with newfound anime genetics. And this is absolutely crazy, because apparently there's this we have discovered a anime genetics thing that allows us to it's weird, but apparently experimenting with anime genetics and human genetics, it makes anime girls, and this shows all in a study made by the Shota scientist Ivan Ivanovich Ivanov. And this all shows in a study made by the Shota scientist Ivan Ivanovich Ivanov. Handing it over to you.
Yes, that is very right. During my studies of very simple genetics abuse, experiments, I found out that the actual science behind it is actually quite simple. So you have this one gene, and then you have this other gene, and then you just combine them. So basically, once the anime genes were discovered, we just had to combine it with people, and immediately we got the real life lollies. In fact, I have one down here, and I'm not allowed to show you because the government will kill me, but she can make a sound like this, and it's actually quite simple that as well, how that works, because so basically I was studying while drinking this is actually good stuff. This is a foreign drink from America, and this is like the one few things good by America, McDonald's too. But during my studies, I also figured out that it's very simple. So you just combine the human with anime genetics, and suddenly you have Loli. I don't know why it doesn't give you normal person instead of Loli, but we don't really know. Maybe there's a different combination of genetics we need to do. We have only tried it, unfortunately, with female human genetics, but that's because our government is, well, I'm not supposed to say this, but our government hate gays, so we can't do that, because we will be executed. So yeah, that's actually, I gotta go now. I have a meeting with another lolly that's actually been living here in a while. It's actually a play date, so we're gonna have some dinner here, and yeah, bye bye.
So there we have the great explanation by Even. I think he actually he nailed it. He had everything on point, and as you can see, it looks very good for us, but we still kind of confused how it only brings lollies. Maybe there's some crossbreeding needed to be done. They have done it with females only because of the regional issues that he spoke about. However, we will find more on those regional issues next time. Maybe we'll probably have a new report by the next news, which will be in a couple months or years. We actually don't know when our next news will be, because last time it was 2020 and now it's 2022. It took 2 years for us to make another news report, but come on guys, we don't always have news that are cutting it with our production, so we kind of have to insert ourselves a little more to make the news more interesting, because it's hard to find news. So we're inserting our own opinions from now on, and we're inserting a more casual speech, because I think the rock news is not about being just fully professional news. We are fully professional, don't get me wrong, but we like to make it a little more casual, so that so maybe you can feel a little more realistic and relatable with our news and how we feel about things and discuss things. Anyways, this study will actually be the breakthrough for shut-ins, because they can finally get laid without going outside, as this will be a home maneuver. This is actually so easy, because it's like a lab kit where you get a human and an anime genetic, and you just mix it. It's like one of those like eggs that you put them in water and then they grow, but in this time you just mix together these two chemicals and leave them in an open area in your house, and make sure that it's on like a couple pillows, because immediately once the lolly has formed, it wants to rest. So you want to have something comfortable under the, but this will be all explained when the actual formula is released to the public. However, we of course saved the best news for last. However, now we will move on to the weather. Take it away, Jerry.
Yes. Hello and welcome everyone to the Rock News weather forecast. And as you see, we kind of have better cameras for the weather than we do for the actual news, because the actual news don't really need a better camera, because you know we get all our shit from here anyways. So today in the weather, you can see here it's going to be quite a sunny day, only about 22 Celsius. I heard from the guy down the street, but actually here we have a map which I can actually see, because we don't use a green screen. Our production isn't that high yet. So 22 Celsius around the day, basically, and around the night, and it will be around like 18, 19 Celsius. It says that right here. It actually says here. You can see it says 18 Celsius at night, and it actually says up here that it's during nighttime. So you should probably read that next time instead of complaining to the news like you did last time, when you just didn't use your eyes to look at what the thing said. And yes, I will say I do have glasses this time, which is noticeable because I'm blind. I looked into the sun one day, and I decided that the sun was pretty, so I decided to stare into the sun, and now I'm blind, okay? And I have to wear glasses to see, because I'm blind. Duh. But anyways, tomorrow it will be quite different. It would actually be just a steady, it's 21 Celsius, and the sun will actually stay up like a couple hours longer, so keep that in mind. It's gonna stay hot for a little longer, so if you're one person who takes late night evening walks, you probably want to wait a little bit until it actually darkens down a little bit. It will darken down about midnight to 1 a.m. this time, and around this night time it will be about 17 Celsius, as it says here. And yeah, that should be it for the Rock News weather forecast, unless there's something here on the back. No, there's nothing on the back actually this time, which is good, because that means my job is easy. So, thank you for watching Rock News, and see you next time in the next weather forecast, or the next Rock News forecast.